Speaker, I'd appreciate you for making time to accommodate my brief statement. However, before the statement, allow me to slip in a quick procedural issue. Honorable Speaker, there are some matters that get to alarm us. This one alarmed me personally. I don't know if it did other people. The Fourth Estate has reported, including government media houses, has reported a haste at Bank of Uganda. Some reports have indicated $17 million, that's about 62 billion shillings. Others have indicated $13 million, that's about 48 billion shillings. And some narratives are there was a hacking by some people in South Asia, and this money was swiped to accounts in Asia. Other reports indicate it was an inside job of Bank of Uganda. It alarmed me because this is our central bank. Honorable Speaker, in the past couple of months, nearly every 2 months, you will hear of a haste at a commercial bank. Now, commercial banks, those are privately owned, it bothers us, but when it comes to the central bank, it's more problematic. And I'll tell you why I found it problematic. Let me read to you a section of the Bank of Uganda Act. Section 4.1, about the functions of the central bank. The functions of the central bank shall be to formulate and implement monetary policy directed to economic objectives of achieving and maintaining economic stability. That's how serious the role of Bank of Uganda is, locally and internationally. I've seen even international media houses report about this, and that does affect us in every sense. I thought government through the Ministry of Finance should help us understand, because you supervise the operations of Bank of Uganda to an extent. Yes, it's autonomous, but you're the overseers. It's important that we know what exactly is happening at our central bank. If monies are being siphoned, whether it be by hackers, whether it be by staff of Bank of Uganda, it should worry all of us.
Honorable Law.
Yes, right, Honorable Speaker.
Could you help us find out where was it?
In the New Vision, in the Daily Monitor.
You have it in the Monitor.
And they have been reporting about this almost on a daily basis, giving an update. So government should not continue to be quiet about this matter. We want to know what exactly is happening. Through you, right, Honorable Speaker.
If you have the New Vision, please help us. Lay it on table.
I carried one of the dailies that reported about this haste, and there are several others that I can avail to the Minister of Finance. But for now, I'll lay this one on table.
Thank you. Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I am alive to what several media houses have been reporting. I wish to state that it is true our accounts were hacked into, but not to the extent of what is being reported. When this happened, we instituted an audit and at the same time an investigation. The Auditor General is doing the audit, and CID at the same time is doing an investigation. Madam Speaker, to avoid misrepresentation of facts, I wish to seek indulgence of this House that we be patient when the audit is finalized, which is now at the tail end, and also CID finalizes his investigation. I come to this house and report. Otherwise, as of now, any matter I disclose on this issue will risk misrepresentation of facts. I thank you.
Honourable members, honourable members, Honorable members, the minister is in agreement with what the leader of opposition is saying, but he says it is under investigation. Let's wait for a report from the investigation, and then we will handle it in that way. But we want to thank you for bringing it up, and the minister has clarified that it is correct.
Rarely do they concede to some of these things, but government through the Minister of Finance has conceded. Of course, now he has thrown things a bit off balance. So he's saying, no, it might not be entirely factual, even though there was a haste. That clarity should have come, because if he's saying these figures are wrong, what are the correct figures? However, he is talking about an ongoing audit.
There's an
How
audit.
long is it going to happen? When are we going to get a report as Parliament on this matter? Because you see, the reason we are insisting on this matter, when the network firewalls of the central bank are penetrated, it is something that gets to worry all of us. That's why we are insistent on this.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, all these processes will have been concluded within 1 month, and I will report back to the House.
Members, there are two institutions that are investigating this issue. There is the Auditor General that is going to get, and then we also have CID, we have police, they are also investigating. So we cannot discuss what is being investigated already. It is good we have the information. In 1 month's time, when we come back, we shall be able to ask the minister to give us a feedback. Next item. Issues of monies are issues of security. You don't discuss it just anyhowly. Don't discuss it anyhowly.
Thank you, Arnold. There is no continuous hacking happening, because all those are matters that are of concern to us, because the month might elapse and then we hear these. Because nearly on a monthly basis, Honorable Speaker, and I believe you're a consumer of intelligence information.
No, it has.
Commercial banks have been hacked very regularly. So there must be something that is convoluted that we need to have a good understanding of. Because it's even the commercial banks, they host monies belonging to the Ugandan citizens. So,
can we have your report now that you have brought that very important information, and it has been handled?
Thank you.
Rob, my supervisor,
Then
will allow me.
You come in front. Why do you sit?
I sought permission to sit here.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I agree with your guidance and the plea from the Minister of Finance. What a responsible government does is to issue an interim statement reassuring the public, disclosing what will not prejudice the investigations. A responsible government does not stand up in Parliament and say, we are investigating, we will not tell you anything. Because by you saying you are going to investigate, you are even carrying out an audit, you have actually admitted that you don't know. That's why you are investigating, that's why you are auditing. You share with the public on whose behalf you transact business, government business, on an interim basis, what so far you know and you think is not a danger. But you don't plead that I am not going to say anything. You see, this matter. So, Madam Speaker, I thought that I am asking NRM government to be what they cannot, to be responsible, but I think they can learn at least to try. Then we will forgive you that at least you are trying.
Is doing whatever it takes to stop that, whatever has happened, and there is not much that you can do. That is a human disaster. Honorable Musasisi.
Laying of 500,000, equivalent to United States dollars 18.09 million.
Honorable members, can you?
From the African Development Fund to finance East Africa's Centers of Excellence for Skills and Tertiary Education in Biomedical Sciences Project, Phase 1, Uganda Cancer Institute, additional financing.
Honorable members, the money they are getting is for tertiary education, the biomedical science project, Phase 1, the Uganda Cancer Institute, and that is the money they are proposing. We are not saying we are passing. We are not passing the money now. The report has to go to the committee. The committee will make its analysis whether we should borrow or not.
Weesiimye mattu oli wa mukisa okukira abalala. Omugugu gw'ebizibu by'ettaka gukutikuddwa Brand Property Services Limited ku lw'ettaka eritaliiko nkaayana. Ennyumba eziwedde okuzimbibwa wamu n'ez'okupangisa, apartments ez'okupangisa wamu n'okugula mu mawanga ag'enjawulo okuli Uganda, Kenya, Bungereza, Dubai, America wamu ne Canada. Okuddaabiriza ennyumba oba ebizimbe byo, property management n'abasaveya abakugu abataakufere. Twekwate ku nsonga zonna ezekuusa ku by'ettaka nga kw'otadde n'okugobera ku kyapa kyo. Kati pazo y'eby'ettaka ebadde kukaluubiriza egonjoddwa bw'okwataganye naffe. Tukubire ku noti 703 824 noti 79 oba noti 773 26 580 noti oba otusange ku MT House omwaliiro ogusooka room 5 ewazana ku Entebbe Road okuliraana ekizimbe kya Muguluma Empire. Tukyalireko ne ku website yaffe www.brandpro.co.ug. Brand Pro Property Services Limited, tutuukiriza birooto.
Honorable members, Article 159(2) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda requires that when borrowing is done, there should be an approval of Parliament, and that is in pursuant to Section 36, Section 39 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015, and Rule 159(1) of the Rules of Procedure. I now invite the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to table a loan request.
Right Honorable Speaker, Madam Speaker, pursuant to Article 159 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Section 34 of the Public Finance Management Act, and pursuant to all the applicable rules of procedure of Parliament, I beg to lay a proposal to borrow up to units of account 13,500,000, an equivalent of United States dollars 18.09 million from the African Development Fund to finance East Africa's Centers of Excellence for Skills and Tertiary Education in the Biomedical Sciences Project Phase 1, Uganda Cancer Institute, additional financing. I beg to lay, Right Honorable Speaker.
Please lay. And in furtherance to Rule 1552 of the Rules of Procedure, I refer the request to Committee of National Resources. I mean Natural Economy. Natural Economy, sorry. Law.
Item 3.
Procedure.
Statement
Yes,
by the
Speaker.
Leader of the Opposition.
Madam Speaker, and my good brother. Madam Speaker, I am an independent member, but you know where I kneel. Madam Speaker, yesterday I appreciated Honorable Jimmy Akena for his good role that he's doing promote Uganda through motorsports and as a leader of a political party. But I also at the same time submitted and said we have other leaders of political parties who are using their positions not to bring out a good brand of Uganda. Madam Speaker, good enough, the LOP gave a submission concerning Bank of Uganda, and he said he got it from social media and laid the papers too. And also at the same time, Madam Speaker, I really seek your protection because I see I'm being harassed by my sister who is seated behind me. And that's domestic violence. You know, we have a week of activism. Madam Speaker, I therefore...
Honourable members, what is your procedure matter?
Madam Speaker, I don't know whether we are proceeding well at this time. That I watched the leaders of one of a political party called NUP in Santiago, Chile, in North America, attending a conference with the theme of democracy and freedom. But resolution number 8, they resolved that LGBTQ, the homosexuality, must be defended. And moreover, Honorable Abed is here. He wrote a letter to the leadership of NUP asking them their stand about homosexuality. They did not repeat. I want to get the leader of opposition to look in the cameras and give the position of NUP concerning homosexuality in this country to defend the law that we made here. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, the leader of opposition has not gone anywhere. He's been here with you in the Parliament. But if you're saying there are people who have gone and they have attended any meeting in regards to whatever you have said, you know, even the Bible says we shall know them by their deeds. We shall know them. So, Honorable Lob, just present your paper.
Statement by the Leader of the Opposition on an oversight visit.
Speaker, Honorable Speaker, when we were passing the anti-homosexuality bill, there is 2 members of Parliament who objected, and they are not members of the opposition which I lead. They were members of the NRM. I just thought I should throw that out there. But also, right honourable, you know, when we are entering the gate at Parliament, they normally check, I think, for guns and other artillery. And I think as we especially enter the chambers, they need to check for maybe other substances in people's jackets and so on that motivate the way people speak. But Honourable Speaker, let me get to the statement.
There is a procedural matter.
Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I want to thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
And I will proceed with the background. Right, Honourable Speaker.
There is a procedural matter, Love.
Leader of opposition for giving way. Madam Speaker, I don't know whether we are proceeding right. First and foremost, Rule 72 tells us that the speech of the member should be relevant or must make reference to the subject matter under discussion. The right honourable Speaker allowed you to talk about Busoga, but now you're bringing in a different matter. So I don't know whether he's moving right or he's in the right direction. That's number one. Number two, Madam Speaker, I don't think it's also, I don't know whether it's also right for the leader of opposition to insinuate that members of Parliament speak under the influence of drugs. I think that is also something that we should expand off the record of Parliament. I'm seeking your guidance, Madam Speaker.
I think they are filibustering to delay my statement, right, Honourable Speaker. I beg that you allow me proceed with the statement.
Honourable Leader of Opposition, you said that we should be checking members when they are entering into the chambers for
anything.
For anything?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to understand what anything.
Right, Honourable Speaker, the word anything has a very good meaning And the meaning of anything is anything.
So you mean the member speaks out of anything?
I don't know, and that's why we need to, I guess, improve our security mechanisms here, right, Honorable Speaker? Even for your safety, I see there are changes here that were made, and maybe we need to up it up some more. But, Honorable Speaker,
Honorable Bell.
Abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tuchaddeko ewa Sheikh Asiraf Dembe.
Ssebo nsanyuse okubalaba. Amannya agange Seeka Asiraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde tumusomereddwa, tumuwa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba, tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa. Abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa, ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge ng'ali wala. Neetaase enamba yange yeeno eri 0707763711. Nammwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu, viza zibuze, amaka gakolongotana, sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo, ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amannya go, ebyo byokka bijja kummala, nja kukulombera edduwa, ojja kutereera. Olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa ey'awamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Right Honorable Speaker, whereas we debate with humor, there are some issues which are very important. Right Honorable Speaker, it is important that my good friend, the leader of opposition, withdraws that statement. It needs to be expunged because it goes on record that maybe some members of parliament come with something or anything that impairs their submission, because it was very emphatic that we need to check anything that may derail people from speaking. Honorable Speaker, is there any procedural right that the Honorable Lope withdraws that statement and we expunge from the record of Parliament? I thank you.
So that there is proper clarity.
Honorable members, all of you, all members of Parliament come here in their best mind to be able to legislate for this country. That's what they so we can't say anybody is, maybe something is activating anybody. Nobody comes with anything.
Honorable Speaker, with your permission, let me rephrase.
You go to your report. Go to your report.
Okay, but I wanted to make a correction. Honorable Abe said I'm her good friend. I am not her good friend, for the record. But she's a colleague, that's okay. Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate you for making time for this brief statement. Honorable Abe used to be a good friend of mine when she was still part of the opposition. I see some colleagues are complaining. Honorable Speaker, I'll make this statement brief. I did travel to Busoga sub-region, specifically Jinja district, with some members of the shadow cabinet and some opposition members of parliament from Busoga sub-region to interact with sugarcane farmers. They've been reaching out to us with several complaints, so we decided to pay them a visit and interact with them. I'll skip a couple of things and go to the background. Busoga is one of Uganda's leading sugarcane growing regions, contributing significantly to the country's sugar production. The sugar industry is one of the fastest growing industries in our economy under the manufacturing sector, contributing over 300 billion shillings in taxes annually, according to the Ministry of Trade, employing over 100,000 Ugandans directly and many more indirectly. The industry also produces over 150 megawatts of electricity from bagasse, of which about 70 megawatts is supplied to the national grid. Busoga has the biggest number of sugarcane mills and a huge acreage of sugarcane, making use of its fertile soil around Lake Victoria and Lake Kyoga, coupled with good rains. However, the persistent poverty in Busoga continues to raise questions about whether cane cultivation is benefiting farmers. Uganda Bureau of Statistics 2020 figures show that Busoga has 1.2 million poor persons. This is 120, it could be different now, of which 400,000 are living in food poverty. Food poverty, often referred to as household food insecurity, can be triggered by a crisis in finance or personal.
Nze Hajja Simwogerere, omuwandiisi ate era omuzannyi w'emizannyo. Mu bitabo by'empandiika bikwatagana ku bulamu bwaffe obwa bulijjo oba nga buyita social, political and economic. Oyinza okusoma ebitabo byange nga otusinkana ku WhatsApp yaffe eri 0756 12 65 15 nga osobola okusasula omutwalo gumu n'ekitundu buli mwezi. Waliwo comments oba emitwalo ebiri nga omutali comments. N'awalala oyinza otusinkana ku Amazon ku Simwogere Ashraf Kindle. Nkwaniriza nnyo otusinkane era n'ebitabo byaffe osobola obifuna hard copies okuva ku Mukono Bookshop oba okulagiriza ku WhatsApp namba eyo oba enamba yaffe eyo gye nkuwadde. Nkwagala nnyo.
I don't know what transpired between you and my elope. I will leave that to you. Right Honourable Speaker, I was bringing it to your attention that it is my privilege as a Member of Parliament to have an opportunity to attend sittings and deliberate on issues on behalf of my people. But the last parliamentary sitting, Right Honourable Speaker, I was carried out of house in a very brutal way. My dress was torn. I was actually stripped. Speaker, you've been just spoken about gender violence. I would like to tell you that the way I was carried is dehumanizing, because at one point I was actually being carried by men out of this house. I was denied the opportunity to represent my people. At that point, I want to describe, at one point, men carried me one leg on the right, another leg on the left, just spreading my legs. My dress was completely torn. Right Honourable Speaker, when I was thrown out of that house, the door behind you, I was actually carried what they described to be jack by the jack. It's easy to carry a man by the jack. Carrying by the jack is holding someone by the pants. But carrying a woman by the pants, Right Honourable Speaker, you know what it feels like. Right Honourable Speaker, two things. Number one, I was denied the opportunity to stay in the house and represent my people. Two, my people were disenfranchised. I should have been here to speak for my people. 100,000 people from Butambala were disenfranchised. You may not have known, it's not only me who was taken out of this house without your directive, because Honorable Charles from Busiro, who had not been suspended from this house, was also carried out, so his people were equally disenfranchised. Right Honorable Speaker, the point of privilege number one I'm raising is I'm wondering why I was denied the opportunity to represent my people in this house at the time when I needed my voice most. Number two, Right Honourable Speaker, my dress was torn, and I want to lay on table for purposes of investigation. Right Honourable Speaker, you've been speaking about gender violence. We must walk the talk. We should not only talk about things that we're unable to do. This dress had been bought that day when I was coming to Parliament. I was coming from the constituency, and I didn't have time to go to my home to dress up. I quickly went to the shops to buy something. This tearing is at the breast part, at the breast pass. If someone tears a dress at the breast part, by this time you can wonder where my breasts were. A Muslim woman who covers herself and only leaves out the face and the palm. This dress was also torn from the lower part up this point. All the thighs were spread out. Right Honourable Speaker, why I want to lay this on table is for you to direct an investigation on who are the people that laid hands on me in a way that was so dehumanizing. For a member of Parliament, not outside Parliament, but in this August House, With your
Thank you.
permission, Right
Thank
Honourable
you.
Speaker, I beg to lay my address.
First, don't lay it, because I've not. Honourable members, I made a statement in the last sitting that I did suspend members, and when I suspended the members, I did not order for any arrest of any person. I suspended the members, they left, and what Honorable Aisha can do is to bring a substantive motion to that effect on what happened today. You don't have to lay, because you need a substantive motion on that. And as I said the other time, I left the chambers, and I'm happy you know that I left the chambers. I came back. I don't know what happened. Huh?
Right, Honourable Speaker, I don't know what the motion would speak to. I only pray that your office investigates on who else rules this parliament other than the rules and yourself.
That is exactly what the motion should say, that there should be an investigation to what happened. It is simple, Hajat. Bring a motion.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I want to join you firstly in commiserating with our colleague who was involved in an accident. Sadly, I learned somebody passed on in that car. We pray that he recuperates soon, our colleague, so he can rejoin us. Honourable Speaker, I also want to welcome you back as you welcome us back from a mini recess of sorts. I see what has changed here. The lights are very bright. I am hoping these are the kind of lights that cannot be switched off, because the last time we were here, all of a sudden it became dark. There was fire and brimstone here. So I'm glad the lights are brighter. Hopefully they'll remain brighter, and that they are the kind which can be switched off. Unfortunately, though, Right Honourable Speaker, normally I'm able to see my friend, the Prime Minister, and we have some chats across. Now there is a wall. I'm not able to see the Prime Minister very easily. Normally I'm close to the Speaker, and now the Speaker has been taken the other side. There's lots of changes we're trying to, but I'm glad. I also want to welcome back our colleagues, the media, who are part of us as an institution. Rule 31 provides for the fact that the public ought to follow the goings on here, because we deliberate here on behalf of the public. And the only way they can follow is when the media is present. Last time they were not. Right Honourable Speaker, I have two very quick issues for your ruling. They're slightly unrelated, but I'll make them quick. One of those, Right Honourable Speaker, is I'm seeking through your office that government would help us understand something that's seemingly convoluted of late. Ugandans travel within the East African community, and it should be freely anyhow. But government has severally been picking people, especially from Kenya, who have traveled. The first lot went for a training. They were picked and brought back. Most recently, a senior opposition leader in this country, your former leader, Right Honourable Speaker, Dr. Kiiza Besigye, was picked from Nairobi, Kenya, by Ugandan security operatives who brought him here, and now he's before the court martial. Many things confused me, even as a lawyer, that I thought government would probably elucidate on, so that we have a good understanding. Even those of us who are who are trying to understand the legalities, to know on behalf of the country how this gets to happen, that it can be okay for people to continuously be picked from a neighboring country. I had one of the issues they were raising was he was found with a gun in Kenya, and I kept thinking, but jurisdiction-wise, that doesn't work. It should be Kenya to complain. So many questions, and yet the answers are too few. I thought government would help us understand. Has this become the modus operandi? As citizens who normally travel to these other countries?
Honourable Lopez, as I had already said, There is a statement to that effect coming from Honorable Ssemujju, and he actually served it to my office.
Thank you. I'm glad my colleague, who, by the way, just returned from jail, I'm on procedure, Honorable, and procedure takes precedence, sir. Thank you very much. As I was saying, Honorable Ssemujju is a victim, so he'll have a lot to share with us. But I thought I should throw that out, and my colleague will elucidate. The second issue, which will be the final issue, Right Honorable Speaker, on 6th of November, we're here deliberating on a couple of things for the good of our people. Right Honorable Speaker, I made certain remarks, especially in reference to remarks you had made during the coffee bill discussion, and I said that in my considered view, the remarks which had been made by yourself were tribal, in my considered view. Honorable Speaker, you said that you will only apologize, and you challenged me, and I took up the challenge. You said that you can only apologize if I table evidence showing that you made remarks which were tribal, in my view. I thought, who am I to be challenged by the Speaker and I don't follow through? Honorable Speaker, I have carried some evidence which I want to table. You will look at it and examine it. It's both on CD and flash disk, which has got videos.
Where is the origin of that?
Of remarks that you made.
Where is the origin of that?
The origin is the national broadcaster, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. But Honorable Speaker, you examine them and you'll give your ruling.
My law.
Yes, right, Honorable Speaker.
Don't go on a fishing expedition.
No, I am not.
Because when you get what is being broadcasted there, it is not what I have said. The broadcaster is broadcasting its own things. It is not, if you want, go to the Hansard. That is, go to the Hansard and get it from there, and it will be authentic. And I can assure you, once you have it and it is authentic, this country has my apology.
But most obliged. That's why I said, you see, even in court, we table evidence, and then there can be a ruling on the evidence. So when you asked me for evidence, I have just executed my duty to table. We're going to examine it, Right Honorable Speaker. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker,
Honorable Member, incidentally, that statement of yours that day was expunged from the Hansard. There was nobody to elaborate on it, and you had already left the house. But going back to coffee bill, you've gone back to the coffee bill. Actually, the coffee prices have gone up.
Right, Honorable Speaker, as I wrap up.
Honorable members, what Honorable Ssemujju wants to raise. First, give him time.
Let me just wrap up and my colleague comes on. I'm just wrapping up, Right Honorable Speaker, with the final issue. And you have actually mentioned what I wanted to say, that Honorable Speaker, you expunged remarks from the Hansard about a claim that I made of security operatives raiding the chambers of Parliament after the media was chased away, lights switched off, and our colleagues, including women, were bundled up by men and all of that. And I said, Right Honorable Speaker, who are these? Who, in my view, were security operatives? And you said that that was a defamatory statement because these were not operatives. I said, well, good enough, the Speaker is our leader here. There are cameras here who can help us understand who raided this place, who manhandled Honorable Aisha and all the other people that were manhandled. And again, I know that there are cameras in here, but I said I'll still put it on recording. I have a CD here and a flash disk of people who raided these, our chambers, and manhandled people, for you to examine and help us understand who were these. Because even right now, Right Honorable Speaker, you have said you don't know who these were. That actually worried me the most. Because you are the head of this institution, you are our leader, and our safety is to a great extent your responsibility. So if my speaker does not know who raided this place and manhandled members of parliament, I am actually very worried. And I'm hoping that, Honorable Speaker, you'll follow it up, because the evidence is here, as I have tabled it, for you to follow up and help us understand. Because if my speaker doesn't know, then who knows? I thank you.
Honorable Law, that evidence is not admissible. What is admissible is on official report. That is under Rule 228. What you could do, please write to the Clerk of Parliament and ask the Clerk of Parliament for all what happened in the proceedings of Parliament on that day. So please do that. In the public gallery, we have VIP public gallery. This afternoon we have Honorable Bitangaro Samuel, former Member of Parliament of Bufumbira South. You're most welcome. He's accompanied by his spouse Barbara. Most welcome. They are here to witness grace take an oath. You're most welcome. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of family members, relatives, and friends who have come to witness the swearing in of Grace, woman member of Parliament elect for Kisoro District. Please stand up. You're most welcome. She's now the Member of Parliament who was elected for Kisoro. Now Member of Parliament. Grace, congratulations, and you're most welcome. Join me in welcoming them. In the public gallery, we have Rukoba United Group from Lower Madi constituency. That is Madiokolo. Madiokolo, you're most welcome. They are represented by Honorable Afidra Olema Ronald, Honorable Kia Joan Aniku, and Honorable Etuka Isaac. You're most welcome, and thank you so much for coming all the way from West Nile. Greet your people.
Hello. Right Honorable Speaker, it's a great pleasure for me, together with my honorable colleagues, to take this distinguished honor to see my own who made me what I am and who sent me in this house, being present to witness the proceedings of the House being chaired by you. Madam Speaker and honorable members, the group you see here are the group of young men who survive out of young men and women who make out of tires, use tires, and they make it into different items. And this is how they survive. They pay school fees with, they make their lives ends meet with. And it is out of that they made their contributions to support me. I'm so grateful for you. This is the parliament you sent me to, and you sent the rest of the team here too. I look forward to 2026 being sent back. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to welcome you and the rest of the colleagues from the short recess we have been in. Madam Speaker, in your communication, you have indicated that you would like us to present the budget framework paper at an earlier opportunity. I wish to inform the House that preparations are underway, and from our side, we should be able to lay the budget framework paper on Thursday, 12th December 2024. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honorable members in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation from Malera Sub-County Local Government Council 3, that is Bukedea District, composed of councillors, elders, and technical staff. They are represented by the speaker of the LOC3s, and then the sub-county deputy speaker, Honorable Lupo Joan. They are represented here by Honorable Ikoyo John Bosco and me, my good self. Join me in welcoming my people. They are the reason why I'm here. And Mama, bring me back and post. Honorable Ibrahim.
I want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Rule 54, I'm seeking your guidance. Rule 54, statements by members. It says that any statement by a member shall be presented on Thursday. Today is a Tuesday. Madam Speaker, again, Rule 73 talks about sub judice rule. We already have an intimation on what he's going to present. And
Why are you legislating in anticipation?
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Leader of Opposition was mentioning a matter related to what you stopped him to actually conclude, and you said Honorable Ssemujju is going to raise. But that matter, why I wanted to raise it at that time, is that the matter is in court. So I'm wondering whether we are not against Rule 73.
Honorable member, out of respect, let's listen to each other and we'll get a ruling to that effect. We'll get a ruling to that effect. And let's not legislate in anticipation.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you. The colleague raising a point of procedure, I told you he is our neighbor in my village. He has not been able to shed off his all the habits of what this is. Madam Speaker, this statement...
Give us the statement.
This statement, Madam Speaker, on abduction of Dr. Kiiza from Nairobi, Kenya, 16th, 2024. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I am presenting this statement in line with Rule 25 L and M, 59 and 64. Right Honorable Speaker, Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye, former Forum for Democratic Change President, four-time presidential candidate, and now one of the promoters of the People's Front for Freedom, was abducted from Nairobi, Kenya on November 16, 2024. He had traveled to Nairobi on the invitation of NARC Kenya political party leader and former Kenyan Justice Minister Martha Karua. Dr. Besigye was scheduled to speak at Martha Karua's book Against the Tide launch. He, together with Ajobe Dirutare Kamuregeya, a senior PFF leader, was abducted from a riverside apartment in Eastland, where he was attending a brief meeting before proceeding for dinner for Karua's book launch guests. He was then driven across borders by his captors. His passports, national ID, wallet, and other belongings remained at Waridi Hotel, where he had been booked in. Dr. Besigye did not or was not made to undergo immigration protocols on the Kenyan or Ugandan immigration sites. News of his missing started circulating 3 days after his abduction on Tuesday, November 19th. Right Honorable Speaker and members, Dr. Besigye was then miraculously arraigned before the Military Disciplinary Committee, commonly known as Court Martial, on Wednesday, November 20th. Charges of possession of 2 pistols, which were learned that day that is a monopoly of UPDF, were read to him and he is co-accused. They also charged with holding meetings in Switzerland, Greece, and Nairobi for purposes of undermining the security of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the abduction of Dr. Besigye has been condemned widely by the UN, lawyers, human rights defenders, the organizations and individuals. Even the Uganda Human Rights Commission has condemned this abduction and demanded for Besigye's immediate release. I call upon you, Madam Speaker, and the House to join the world in condemning this heinous crime of abduction. Condemned because there are laws, international and domestic, that govern extradition and deportation. The Ugandan, Kenyan, and international laws were all in this case not followed. Only criminals can do this. You may not be concerned with the Besigye, but be concerned with the state continuing to act criminally. I want to emphasize that point. You may not be concerned with the Besigye, but you should be concerned with the state continuing to act criminally. Madam Speaker, I raised the issue of the 36 PF members that were abducted from Kisumu in this House. They were handcuffed and driven across borders in similar manner. The 3 women who were part of this group were not allowed to ease themselves for 14 hours. When they were finally allowed, it is male soldiers that were pulling their knickers and ordered them to urinate as they remained handcuffed. They were later charged with terrorism. Madam Speaker and members, we are concerned with the continuing human rights violations by the NRM government, including ministers working in jails and making people to confess to crimes they have not committed, and then getting the NRM chairman to pardon them. All things concern us, and they should concern every MP. This parliament should also demand for an explanation from Kenya. Even Chris was abducted. I went to see him at Ginger Road. They had denied him simple things, including slippers. That giant is there. This parliament, Madam Speaker, should also demand for an explanation from Kenya. He was representing us in finding out how the Honorable Nevanda died. They charged him with stealing body parts.
Is that a part of your statement?
No, I was reminding him to sit down and listen to the statement. It is not part of the statement.
Maybe you wanted to compliment
I am
on
sorry,
what?
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and members, we are concerned with continuing human rights violations by the NRM government. This must stop. We demand for an explanation from government, Madam Speaker. This parliament should also demand for an explanation from Kenya, whether it is still subscribes to the East African Community Brotherhood. The ministers of internal affairs, who heads immigration, foreign affairs, and defense, Madam Speaker, must be made to explain to this Parliament this incident and to the country. Madam Speaker, I thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Government.
Right Honourable Speaker.
You'll come. Let him first respond.
I am alive to the fact that the issue substantially raised by Honourable Ssemujju is a matter before a court established through an Act of Parliament, the UPDF Act. What I can confirm on behalf of government is what is already in the public domain. That Colonel retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye arrested, produced in court, charged, and remanded to lose their appearance, and he will be availed back to court on the 2nd of December 2024. On the call for condemnation, I wish to persuade my honorable colleague that that may be too early, because the matter before court will be a subject of evidence, subject of prosecution, and the outcome definitely will be known. It may be too early for us to condemn. But what I can also advise is that, honorable colleague, let us accept to always play within the rules. Honorable Ssemujju and myself, we always play within the rules. At times, you invite the referee to warn you verbally. At times, you are given a yellow card. But if you are an habitual offender, you are red carded. Let us advise fellow countrymen and women to always play within the rules. Because the question is, just like Balututte scored against Manchester United and pulled a t-shirt written on, why always me scoring against Manchester United? Why always you and not me and not her? Why always you? That must be a fundamental question. I beg to submit.
Yes, counsel. Not the junior counsel, the senior.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you. I have listened to the response of the government chief whip, and we are all aware that this is a matter before court. There are, however, two fundamental issues that government should make a statement on, clarify, and that relates to our relationship with Kenya, especially in light of the fact that we have an extradition treaty with that country. How safe are Ugandans? Now, that is outside the purview of sub judice, if we really want to hide under that. Number two, this element of...
Honorable Basalirwa, government will make a statement without going to the merits of the case. Okay? Government will make a statement. You should come with a statement without going into the merits of the case.
I thank you for that, because I didn't hear the government chief whip undertake to make a statement. But as they come, they must also, Madam Speaker, comment on the apparent illegalities of people or a supposed criminal, as you want to describe him, or suspect, being brought back into the country and does not undergo the due immigration processes. To wit, having their documents stamped by immigration officers, because that in itself is criminal under our laws. So those are things you must really comment on for purposes of assuring the country that whatever happened was undertaken in total observance and adherence to the immigration laws and other laws as they exist in our region. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Defense will bring a statement to that effect. let's not discuss what is before court. Let's not discuss that. In the VIP gallery this afternoon, we have Honorable Ambassador William Chinobe. Chinobe, a former member of Parliament of Katukamu North, is Kinobe James, accompanied by his spouse, Mrs. Mary Chinobe. They are here to witness the swearing in of Honorable Grace Akifesa. You're most welcome. Thank you for coming. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I've lived for a while in this country. I saw recently...
the minister bringing a statement is not actually defense, internal affairs and foreign. Yes?
Not so long ago, Right Honourable Speaker, we had a case of Jamil Mukuru, who was arrested in Tanzania for terrorism, and the due process was followed for him to be brought back to face trial in the country. Right Honourable Speaker, just not so long ago, we had a big problem in this country with our neighbors Rwanda, where the top police officers were arrested and court-martialed for allegedly participating in the abduction of Rwandans who were in Uganda. Right Honourable Speaker, that should form the framework for today's discussion. Right Honourable Speaker, how have we degenerated that as a country? I don't know what is happening to those manning the security of this country. Why is the things that we thought would not happen, we are now forming the headlines on BBC, on international media? Yes, yes.
Search. Honorable Search. I thought we had made a ruling on that to wait for the report and then we discuss the report.
Most obliged, Right Honourable Speaker. But there are those that attack the innocent conscience of Ugandans that may not wait. If the government was proactive, they would even have demanded to be placed on the order paper, but they have not. And once they keep quiet, we have no any other option but to put it to government and those manning our security
That's why
circles.
we have put it to government to bring an explanation to that effect.
Yes, but to show that even this side, we are not complicit with what happens. That abuse of the due process, Right Honourable Speaker and members, should cut across the entire Parliament.
Thank you.
We can't see what is
Mama
happening,
Mabera.
going
Mama
back
Mabera.
to what happened in the 80s.
Yes.
The ministers, you can't see it when this is happening.
Okay,
then come and tell the country.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. You have already guided on the matter that the government comes up with a statement without touching on matters of sub judice. So I think we can have a debate when that statement comes. But why I rose was clarified because the Honourable Ssemujju Uganda, yes, he is, made an assertion that I was abducted by government. And that because I stole body parts. I just wanted to clarify for the record that in the 9th Parliament, our colleague, the Honourable Serena Nebanda, died. May her soul continue to rest in peace. And I was a parliamentary commissioner then. And the parliamentary commission and the family and police, we had a tripartite arrangement in establishing the cause of death. But in the process, the state saw that some of the steps we took, especially to send samples outside the country, normal practice in the medical profession, the state thought that it was irregular and unlawful. And indeed, I was arrested. Yes, arrested together with other colleagues. We appeared in the court for 9 months, and the court ruled that we had no case to answer. The Honorable Katuntu was a lawyer. So I just wanted to clarify.
Actually, Brenda was your
surety, yes. So I just wanted to clarify that I was not abducted, but I was arrested and I didn't steal. I didn't steal. And I stated then that I'm a medical professional and I knew what I was doing was correct. But I went through the due process and I was declared innocent.
Thank you.
And therefore, the Honorable Ssemujju, from now onwards, just know, I have no regrets, I'm not angry, I'm not annoyed, but I follow the due process of the law. So, like the Chief Whip has said, we all talk of respect for the rule of law. Since our senior brother, Dr. Besigye, has been produced in the court, let's leave the process to take its course without Parliament injuring that process.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honourable Speaker, it's good you have ruled that government should come with a comprehensive statement on this matter. I want to suggest an addition in that statement. Honourable Speaker, the Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary of Kenya, Mr. Songei Korir, at a press conference said Kenya had no involvement whatsoever in the arrest of Dr. Kiiza Besigye. Government should explain to us how then it went to Kenya without the authorization of Kenya and pick up Dr. Kiiza Besigye. Because the Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary mentioned that. I think it will be important for that explanation to come through. Because Uganda can't keep going wherever and picking people. But also, Honourable Speaker, I think you need to guide government on when they should bring this statement. Otherwise, they might take donkey's years conveniently and not bring that statement.
Uganda Eyenkya.